Around 1470, it's the invention made by this man, Leon Battista Alberti, that changes cryptology forever.
Alberti is one of the great forgotten men of the Renaissance. He was a great scientist, but particularly he was interested in codes and ciphers. And at the center of this world is the papacy. Alberti had a friend who was one of the Pope's secretaries, and he set him the challenge of creating a method of coding documents. And what Alberti came up with is perhaps the first ciphering device in history, which is the cipher wheel.
It was a cipher disk which produced the first form of polyalphabetic substitution, called polyalphabetic because as this turned, it produced different cipher alphabets.
Each of the two rotating disks contain the 24 letters of the Latin alphabet. The inner disk's letters are in random order. Alberti's encryption process relies on both sender and receiver possessing identical disks and having previously agreed on an index or key letter on the inner disk. The sender begins the message by randomly placing the index letter against any other letter on the outer wheel. This becomes the first capital letter of the enciphered message. He continues sending his message by reading from the inner disk to the outer. After writing 3 or 4 words, the sender moves the index letter a random number of places. He signifies this move to the receiver by a capital letter. This ensures each segment of the message is separately encrypted. Though the code is virtually unbreakable, the disk itself is slow to operate. Alberti's device doesn't become widely used. It's a future president, Thomas Jefferson, who in the 1790s develops the disk into a prototype machine.
Thomas Jefferson was the man who invented one of the most brilliant and clever cipher systems. He saw kind of locks which were like the attaché case locks, in which you line up 3 numbers together and are able to open the attaché case. And he realized that if you replace the numbers with letters, you would have kind of a cipher system. And the way it worked was as follows. You created 24 disks. On the circumference of each, you had a mixed alphabet, a jumbled alphabet. Each of the disks was numbered. You and your correspondent assembled the disks in the same order, both of you, on this spindle. Then to encipher a message, you put all the letters of your message on a single line, attack at dawn tomorrow. Locked the disks together so they couldn't move, turned the entire contraption, and picked out any other line as your cipher text. You sent that to the other person. The other person, with the disks assembled in the same order as you, line up all the letters of your cipher message on a single line, and then turn the entire contraption around until he sees the single line which makes sense in English. That will be the plain text message.